Army Veteran, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now, here's your host.
I am Monty Heath.
Cannot graduate! Cannot unpopular! I'm gonna give you 100%. Been crawling in the dark, looking for the answer.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and I made a new friend over the weekend, and I have him here with me today. I'm talking with Wayde Rozniewski. Ski, what's going on?
Good day, man. It's a good day to be alive. I was just down in Salem with the family, man, and God is good. That's a blessing.
Nice. How's the weather out there today?
It's hot. I think it's like 81 degrees out here. I mean, I shouldn't complain, but that's hot for Massachusetts,
No, I got you. Yeah, we had some heat up here in the Cleveland area, and then like today it's just been like cold. It's almost like fall temperatures already, so I'm getting nervous, hoping summer's not done yet.
Yeah, I just picked up a Jeep today. Like I just bought a Jeep, and I was looking forward to taking the tops off and the doors off, and the weather. It was raining, even though it was like so hot.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, hopefully you still get that opportunity. I'm sure, just still in July, so we should. But yeah, so usually when I have people on for the first time, I like to kind of go like way back. So like when you were little Wayde, what did you originally want to be when you grew up?
Successful. Just a firefighter. I wanted to be a firefighter ever since I could remember. Up until about 9/11. That's when things changed.
Yeah. So like I know like we got like an age gap between us, but like what, how old were you when 9/11 happened, or where do you remember like what was going on with your life then?
I'm gonna say 7th, 8th grade, so 13 or 14, something like that. I don't know the math. I think I told you I'm infantry, so math is not my strong suit, or I'd be a mortarman, which I'm not. So
Gotcha. But yeah, so like you were in school then when it happened, right?
yeah, man, I remember. I lived with my grandma, so she didn't watch the news much. It was always court TV. You remember like the original Nancy Drew court TV?
Yeah.
So she'd always watch court TV. I go to school, and I remember they flip on the TVs and everybody's crying, and I'm not really like too sure what's going on. And they said, we've been attacked. It's a terrorist attack. And, they kept us in our home classrooms. And we didn't get to leave for the day, but all day we got to watch, the TVs. And I think a lot of us, probably as well as yourself, remember that day very vividly. Probably one of the few times in American history the media has ever allowed people, I hate to say this, but people jumping off of buildings to their death to be aired across the news, and it was a sad sight, and I understood why people were crying.
Yeah, I remember like my oldest daughter was just a year old then, and at the time I worked nights and their mother worked during the day. So, I'm up with my daughter, and, throw on like Disney Channel or something, like the Book of Pooh, Winnie the Pooh or something was on. I think she was watching, to occupy her. And it's not like Mickey Mouse cuts in and says, this just breaking news, So I had no idea what was going on. We're sitting there watching, Disney Channel. And then her mom came home from work earlier. I was like, what are you doing here? And she's just like, you don't know what's going on? And then it's like by the time I turned on the TV, it was just like everything already was falling. They kept showing the replays, and it was just like bombarded with all that footage. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking day, but the concept is so crazy too, right? That's the day that I decided to join the military. Um I don't want to say vengeance was my motive, but I felt I've always loved America. Ever since I could remember, I've always just had this like deep seated love for this country. Uh, my family's from all over. I grew up around different cultures in LA, as I've told you before. And I saw how much they love this place, and it instilled in me how much I love this place. And 9/11 happened, and I've heard the saying before, and I'm sure you've heard it before too. And is the most unified this country has ever been was 9/12.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody had the same flag flying in front, and it was ours, you know, not all
Yeah,
the mishmash of flags that people throw up these days, you know. And yeah, I remember I'd already had been active prior, and then I was still in the reserves when it happened. So then I was just like, oh man, it's go time. We're getting activated again, you know. Um, but like so then you had to like wait a little bit, and then you'd been living with grandma, and then what made you kind of like leaned you towards the army?
$2,000. I wanted to join the Marines because I love their esprit de corps, and I just love how gung ho they are. Like you always meet a Marine, and they're always so proud. And I remember like even as a kid meeting Marines, and they were just always super proud of being Marines, and I wanted that. But I tell you what, when you're 17 and somebody tells you they're going to pay you $2,000, that's a hell of a deal. So I ended up talking to the recruiter, and I'm like, "Yeah, 2 grand, man. Sign me up." All I'd ever known was Cold Stone money, man. So they threw that at me, and I ended up I'm a trader. I'm a trader. Sorry to all my Marine friends out there, but I am a trader. That 2 grand made me switch real fast. I lost the esprit de corps and went straight for the dollar sign, man.
Yeah, and did you even remember seeing how they break that 2,000 up to you?
What's funny is I never got it ever. Yeah.
Yep.
I never got it. I remember I went to go file my paperwork, and they were like, "Oh, okay." They whatever S1 puts it in the system, and they're like, "Okay, expect this, in a paycheck or two." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then it never came, and at this point, I think I'm like 6 months into the army, and I'm like, I think I kind of get the gist of this. Like, I'm never
Yeah.
gonna get paid, so like I just accepted it.
Yeah. 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 I think I was telling you too. It's like my dad was a World War II Marine. So it's like I grew up around that pride, once a Marine, always a Marine. And I wanted to make him proud. And I was trying to go into the Marine Corps as well. And then some drunken shenanigans that made the papers made my recruiter tell me, "You're not joining my corps, son." So thankfully the Navy was more lenient towards me
But
for that.
Bill,
you know
I love that you were so rowdy that you were like banned from like the rowdiest. Like that says something about you, you know?
I know. Well, back then it was just a different time, I guess, and it's funny. I think I told you that I ended up just recently this past year reconnecting with that recruiter, that gunny sergeant, through some other veteran organization, and we were like just laughing about it, and because it's like, hey, well, I still got in and served, and now I get to go use this facility that he represents,
Yeah.
um, but and then so you go into the army, and you'd been living with your grandmother. What was like the transition like for you going into like boot camp or just the army in general?
Oh, it was it was a culture shock, because I'm a California kid through and through. Never really had been very far away from California. I think Nevada being the farthest. So you're meeting all these like I'm hearing these like southern accents, and like I have this immediate stereotype that like they're dumb as hell because like that's the stereotype. It really is.
Yeah.
and I found out that stereotypes themselves are for ignorant people, because like some of the smartest people I met in the military were like Southern guys who knew how to, skin animals, and they had various survival techniques, and they were just so intelligent and had things that I didn't, and it was just wild. It was like everything I knew about the world wasn't the world. And I loved the structure. I loved the military right off the bat. I wouldn't break any rules. I remember that. Like I was just like this I was that guy that everybody hated, because like I wanted to be the standard in every single sort of way. And you know, anybody that was like in my circle of sorts was also a super rule follower. But I will say this in basic, do you remember a cat named Jeremy Morlock?
Name sounds familiar.
So he was they made a movie about him, and he was in they call it the Kill Squad or something like that. It's on Netflix, and it was about these guys who went to Afghanistan, and they started killing innocent people. And so I was in basic with Jeremy Morlock, and I got to see he was like my adversary, if you will, in basic training. And he dude, he was crazy from day one. Like I knew he was gonna do some like reckless crap, because he like from day one in basic training, he was all about just like murdering people. And he later went on. I remember going to the PX when I'm stationed in Alaska and seeing him on the front page of the Army Times, like the Kill Squad. And yeah, that was crazy. That was nuts. But culture shock, love the military in basic, and I mean even after too.
Gotcha. Hey, do you have like a light or something? Yeah, so that's pretty wild. Yeah, I when I hear Morlock, I'm a nerd that grew up on Marvel Comics, and there was like these underground characters called the Morlocks. So that's what comes to mind in the X-Men world or whatever.
I mean, he was an X-Men of sorts, but not a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah, definitely some mutant, some sort.
Yeah, that was wild, man.
And then, like, what would you say is one of your like, I mean, and I'm not asking to get into any kind of like details or uncomfortable stuff, but like, what was the worst place you feel like you served at?
Oh, well, you can first and foremost, you could ask me any question. I'm a full believer that like, our stories are used to inspire others, or else they're for nothing at all. So I'm an open book. But man, worst place, deployment or in the U.S.
I mean, yeah, I guess whichever you feel would be like on your memory as like one of the places you were least happy to be serving at.
Oh, I did a TDY in Australia, and yeah, and man, that was don't get me wrong, I love Australia,
I was gonna
beautiful
say I've
place.
always wanted to go there,
Oh,
but probably
we were,
not with the Army, huh?
oh, no, man, we were in the outback, and it was like one of the few times. There's probably like only like 5 times that I like vividly remember being like, why the fuck did I join? And I'm in the outback, and it's the rainy season. And it's the forest parts. The outback isn't all just desert. There's like forests and stuff too. And man, it rained for probably I want to say like 20 of the 30 days. It was really bad. And we were pulling overwatch over this enemy position, and we were only supposed to be there for like, I don't know, like 6 hours, we'll say, just guessing. And they left us there for a whole day. So we had like no sleeping bags, no nothing. And it's just pouring on us this entire time. And I'm just absolutely cold and miserable. And, it's probably one of the few times where I was just like, they have a saying in the Army. You ever heard FTA before?
I'm trying to remember what that one was. I know like FUBAR and bend over, here it comes again, or whatever.
Yeah. FTA is fuck the Army. I was like,
oh, okay, yeah. We had FTN. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, dude.
But then in Australia, was it training or something you guys were doing?
Yeah, we were doing force on force training. So we were fighting we were fighting the U.S. Marines. So there was Marines over there, and it was American Army and the Australian Defense Force against them. And so that's what we're doing, just force on force exercise. And don't get me wrong, there were some parts that were great. Like there was, I think, 3 days in there we got to go like do whatever we wanted, which was just absolutely amazing. Because at the time, this is almost 20 years ago. So this is a time when America was like, hell yeah, America, everybody loved us.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went there and they all thought we were like rappers and all. It was so cool. but, but, but like, was it worth being out in the rainy season in the outback? No way, man. No way. That was miserable. If I got to go to combat, I would probably say, so um, I was in Kandahar in Afghanistan, and we were in Panjway, and we were on a little cop out there, and remember my first day there. There was a firefight right outside our cop, and I got smashed in the. I'm lucky, like my injuries are minimal from Afghanistan. Over in Iraq, I got blown up like 5-6 times, but it took a brick to the face in Afghanistan, and that kind of sucked. It just split me like wide open, and I was awake, so I was just miserable and angry and just bleeding all over the place.
Yeah.
But but I mean, yeah, I did like I'd rather go back to Iraq any day over Afghanistan, which I'm sure actually a lot of people that have been to both would agree with me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're still handsome, so the brick didn't mess you up too bad, and I guess get blown up, as well. Then what would you say is probably one of your favorite places you got to serve at?
Um, Alaska, man. I loved Alaska. Was there like some like turmoil, and was there like everyday life problems? And by that I mean, like, yeah, I got a divorce, I got all this other stuff, but like Alaska as a whole is a community that I can never explain to you, because in Alaska everything's life and death, right?
Mm,
So your car is broken over or broken down on the side of the road, people are going to pull over and check on you. It's just habit for them to make sure
yeah,
that you're okay and you're alive. And it's not like down here where like you're broken down the side of the road and somebody pulls over, and either if you're the one pulling over or your car's broken down, like either side's worried about if they're going to kill you. Alaska's just it's home. There's fishing, hunting. In the summertime it's light out 3 in the morning, so I could like take my motorcycle out anytime I wanted. Man, that was an amazing place, brother. I recommend that everybody at least
I,
visit there.
yeah. I actually had some training that I did with the Army up at Ketchikan, Alaska, like southern Alaska. So I did get a taste of that. It's like I drove like Mike 8 boats, so we would drive like, equipment and troops from like, the one island over to an area, and we were building like a roadway or something up in the mountains. So we'd take them over there, and they'd be blowing up part of the mountain, and to build this roadway. And so when they got off our boats and they were, building the road, we had to just wait for them to finish, and then we would take them back. So while we were waiting, we'd kill time, and we were catching salmon and shit off our boat. It was a good time, man. Bald eagles flying over and everything. It was beautiful, man. And then we
Yeah,
did get to go into town a little bit. And yeah, I saw that sense of community. They asked us to be a part of I don't know if it was Memorial Day we were there, or something, but they asked us to be in their parade and stuff. And it was cool, man.
yeah, the salmon run's cool. Like I loved seeing that. It was just like thousands of salmon swimming upstream, and it's beautiful. Like
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah. And you go up there to spawn and stuff. Yeah.
where I'm from
Yeah.
in California, that's not something you would ever see. So it was like at first I thought Alaska was a death sentence. I was like, why? What Lord did I do to deserve this? But nature's a gift, man, and I learned that, and I wouldn't have learned that if I had not been stationed up there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. For sure. It's so good for your mental health, man, as well. Um, so what is something that you feel like you'll always carry with you from your time of service?
Oh, people may not like this answer, but I'll give it to you. The value of a human life. Um, obviously, being in service and being an infantryman, things were done. And by that I mean like, some people got unalived. Oh, hello. There.
So yeah, then where was I? Yeah, the value of human life. Yeah, I agree with that. And then because yeah, it's like I don't know, we become such a desensitized, people anymore. It feels like, even if you didn't serve, like I don't know, just watching whatever they allow on TV these days, or even um video games and stuff. I don't know. Not trying to be one of those guys, but it just feels like, yeah, the value of human life just,
They call it like moral injury. You ever heard the term before?
yeah.
Like a betrayal of oneself. For anybody who watches this who doesn't know what it is, betrayal of your own like code, your own morals. Um, I grew older. I got out of the military and I got a little bit older. And like I'm sitting there, don't ask me why. I'm sitting there and I'm like playing the piano, and it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I have no idea why, but it was like a epiphany, a come to Jesus moment, a profound thought, whatever you want to word it as. It was just like, wow, like I took me out of this world. You know what I mean? Like they believe that we're the enemy just as much as we believe they're the enemy.
Hmm.
Like they were 13, 14 as well, like learning that Americans were bad just as much as we were learning that they were bad. And it just hit me like that's somebody's son, that's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's father. And and you know I sat there, and I remember I put my head down, and I didn't like sob cry like like a little bitch, but I teared up, man, and I was like, wow, that is a heavy thought that came to me, and it was out of nowhere, just playing the piano, man. And
Wow.
it was at that moment that I understood that everybody is valuable, like even if we like them or not, they have the ability to change their environment, and as a consequence of that, to change the world. And
Hmm.
I've since adopted more of a biblical point of view on things, and I understand things a lot more. War is very necessary, so you'll never catch me saying it's not. uh, but I think if you appreciate human life, that's a big, it differentiates malicious taking life with righteous taking life, because there's a difference between both. And to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't give you an answer on where I was during that.
I know when I was on my last deployment, and I was just in Kuwait, but I was out on a like a DV mission or something, and we were going through like a little town. And I remember like looking at some kids like off, in some dirt field, like kicking a ball around to each other, and when I got deployed, I had a second daughter. I had two daughters sitting at home waiting for me, little girls. And I just thought, man, there's no reason why my girls can't be playing with these kids. Um,
Yeah,
and that's
that's
when it's
deep.
just like, yeah, that was the similar similar thoughts. Like, you know, like what is all this stuff that we've been fed, you know, what's right and what's wrong. And um that was like kind of the beginning of my I guess coming back and having my come to Jesus, you know, moment. But
Yeah, that shows maturity right there. Like it really does. It's growth, like spiritually, mentally, and physically. It's all growth to like why like think about that as a father, right? Like that's such a it's such a that is a profound thought on its own to think like, hey, my kids could be playing with these kids, but I'm told that these kids are bad. When like kids view the world as innocent, they're not really twisted quite yet into whatever weapons that we want to forge them into, whether they be a supporter or a weapon of destruction,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and then like on like a little bit of a cheerier note, what's one of the funniest stories you feel you can share from your time of service?
Oh, okay, this is easy. Actually, there's a ton. I mean, we all know in the military, but
Yeah.
so we're overwatching this road in Afghanistan that had been they had been planting IEDs in it. So we're on the top of this mountain, and we got the rifle up there, we got the glass up there, if you will, overwatching the road, and we're all taking shifts on eyes on the road, and it was my turn to get behind the glass. So I go get behind the glass, and for anybody that doesn't know, it's just behind the sniper rifle, and there was a rock wall between me and where everybody was like sleeping at night and all that stuff. And we had found this like perfect rock formation where you couldn't see us from, you know, the road, only from the top of the mountain, which was great. So I can't watch my guys, you know, and we were up there for a couple days, and we were all told to pack our own water. And, you know, I left it to my team leaders. I'm a squad leader. Well, team leader and recon is a squad leader. But I left my other leaders to, you know, go check on their guys and make sure they're good. I checked on my team leaders, make sure they were good. And I'm done with my shift. I come around the rock to go get the next guy. And my guys they have these absurd colored water bottles in their hand, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, what are you guys doing over here? Like what are we doing? Lack of a better term, I said, what the fuck are we doing, guys? I said, what are you drinking? Like, we've been on this mountain in the sun, like what the fuck are you drinking? And they were like, well, we're out of water, Sergeant, so we put Crystal Light packets in our piss and we're drinking it. And I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I left them alone for like 6 hours, man, and they went through their stuff and they're drinking Crystal Light flavored piss.
Leave the kids unattended. Look what happens.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we were all young. I was like, I think I was 23-year-old squad leader, which is relatively young, and all my guys were younger than me. So we're all just a bunch of kids, you know, trying to figure out life. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't, and I tried to explain to them, like, dude, you can't keep drinking your pee. It becomes talk. I had to like talk to them like they were children, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were so proud that they had these like survival mechanisms instilled in them that they could drink their own piss. And I'm like, You've been watching Castaway way too fucking much, guys." Like you,
Crystal
yeah.
Light only can help it so much, you know.
Oh man, dude,
So many
I
rounds.
was fortunate. I barely drank any water while I was up there because like I knew better. It wasn't, you know, I'd been to Iraq and I've done overwatches over there, so I already knew what I was in for.
Yeah, sip it and make it last. You know.
Yeah, no, they definitely, you know, they got uncomfortable, man, and you know, discomfort is where you find out who you are. And like
Hmm.
it just turns out that I just had a bunch of dumb kids with me, which brave dumb kids, but they were, you know, drinking their own piss.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then what is one of your greatest hopes for the country that you've been willing to give your life for?
Oh, man, I just did another podcast where I kind of gave this same thing, but that we all learn to love each other. You know what I mean? Like that's really it. And I know that's such like a cliche, like hippie answer, if you will, but like we are so divided in this country. There's so much division because they have us, the powers that be, the top percenters of this country who control and manipulate our government. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I don't think, you got the, blue collar workers are running politics whatsoever.
Mm.
Um, I think they have us divided. Like we don't love each other, man. We truly don't. You got, Democrats, Republicans, red, blue, left, right. And we're taught to hate each other. And there's no middle ground anymore. Like if I talk about Trump in front of somebody, they're offended and tell me I'm crazy. And like Pete, what's it, Pete Hegseth? I love that guy. If I talk about him, like people get offended, and it's like no, it's like I'm not talking. I think he's hilarious. Like that's what I'm trying to get at. But anyway, it's just the moral of the story is like we don't love each other, man. Like we don't. Like we're taught like we have two emotions, and it's anger if you don't agree with me, and love if you're on my side. And you know, there was this guy way back when, and he got along with everybody, and he still loved each other even though we killed him. And his name was Jesus, and, he said, love one another as I have loved you. He doesn't talk about like love people who have the same political ideas as you. He doesn't say love people who have the same skin color as you. Love people who identify with, the same biology, whatever it is, as you agree with, like theoretics, it doesn't matter. Like we find the littlest things to hate each other over that we just don't love each other anymore. Like, and the
Mm.
and the basis of Christianity, which I think we forget a lot, is that Jesus hung out with the people who were the misfits. He
Yeah.
didn't hang out. He didn't hang out with people in suits and were driving Mercedes Benzes or Bentleys, and he hung out with the misfits. Man, he loved the people that society didn't like. They were murderers, and some of them were bare knuckle boxers and tax collectors, and even prostitutes. And nobody's different in this world. Like we're all the same. I mean, I hate to say this, but unless you're a fucking pedophile, like love everybody, like love
Mm.
everyone, let nothing divide us, because we're a country that everybody still looks up to, and they just fucking hate saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm bummed that your camera went out, but I mean, at least I can hear those words, and that was powerful words, brother. I love it. I feel you on that. Um, and what do you feel we can do to break the stigma of mental health and PTSD?
Don't buy into labels. You are not your label. Like you don't have to. Everything is workable. I'm 100%. I'm 100% disabled, right? Due to PTSD, due to multiple suicide attempts, and the majority of these times that I was doing these things and that I was drinking and that I was drugging, I was believing the label that was placed upon me, and I was rocking it as if it were my first name.
Mm.
And when you tell yourself that you're broken, you believe that you're broken. You believe that you'll never be as good as the people you surround yourself with because you're broken and they're whole, and you'll never be as good as them because there's a portion of you missing. And that's not true. You can work through anything. Like there's studies out there that show that, exercise is 1.5 times more effective at treating anxiety and depression than the leading pill or counseling is. Now imagine doing all four of those,
Yeah.
or three of them. Like you can work past whatever your trauma is. There's a reason these things work, but they tell us we have these labels and they're lifelong. And you need lithium and you need Seroquel, and I forget the nightmare medication, but you need the nightmare medication for this. Oh, you're sad. Here's this. It's like,
Mm.
no, let's face our fucking issues, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mom and dad sucked. I'm really fucking sorry. I've been there too, but I don't have to be them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as long as we think like we're destined to be part of the 22 a day, eventually you will become part of the 22 a day.
Yeah. I know. you know, like when I first got like my diagnosis, man, you know, it's just like it took a, you know, it took me a while to get to that place to realize that it was like, you know, I'm not my past anymore. I'm an alcoholic. I'm in recovery, you know, myself. I celebrated 17 years sober this year.
Let's go, baby boy. That's what I want to hear, Bill.
Yeah, but you know, but I mean, it's like I'm still learning, you know, how to heal and grow up and love myself. But yeah, I say, you know, I go to meetings where I say I'm an alcoholic, you know, but I'm more like, well, yeah, that's my thinking that I need to work on every day. But it's like I don't go to meetings saying I suffer from PTSD, you know. I try not to let the labels define me anymore or my past. And my past still comes back to haunt me, you know, but I can sit comfortably today. I've gotten rid of a lot of the guilt and shame from my past mistakes to say, you know, that's not who I am today. So I'm sorry you still feel that way. But you know, I mean, I'm not where I want to be in life fully, but I'm sure grateful that I'm not where I used to be in life anymore, you know?
Damn right, man. And like, first and foremost, dude, like people like myself look up to people like you. So you're a power of example, man. And that's a light in a dark world, dude. Like we live in a very, very dark time right now. We focus on the negative more than we look at the positive. If we lined up 100 people and you said, mentally, what are you? Most people aren't going to say smart. They're going to say, I'm depressed. My psychiatrist says I'm anxious. I have PTSD. They're not going to hit on all the positive qualities that they're born with. They're going to hit on all the negative things that they were told to focus on. And it's like, dude, if you tell yourself, how many times have you gone up to somebody, Bill? And this is just a real question for you. How many times in the past, how long you been a father for?
My oldest is 25.
Okay. How many times have you told yourself you're a great father compared to how many times have you told yourself I'm an alcoholic?
I mean, I probably told myself I'm a alcoholic a lot more than I tell myself I'm a great father. Or I tell
But
my, you know, I used to believe I'm a shitty father, you know?
yeah, but you're a great father, man. I see it. Like your kid was out there with us, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
your body, your mind will keep track of whatever you keep telling it. So like I go to so I'm in NA, I do NA, but like I say, I'm a dude in recovery. I don't say
Yeah.
I'm Wade, I'm an addict. I don't say that because like I'm not. If I'm a
Yeah.
thief and I stopped stealing 5 years ago, why am I going to keep telling people I'm a thief?
Yeah. Yeah. Good
So
point. You know, and yeah, you know, I mean, I know it's just kind of something with in the rooms where you gotta like, you know,
oh,
that's
I
how
get
you
it.
gotta
Yeah, I get it.
identify.
I totally get it,
But
brother.
I feel you because it's just like I mean, maybe I got the thinking. I'm still very selfish and self-centered, but I have no desire to pick up a drink, you know? Um, so I don't know. Yeah, that I agree though, that self-talk, I'm still learning to rewrite that record in my brain that plays to me, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
we have to reinforce the positives more than we reinforce the negatives. You know what I mean? And we have to switch the narrative to like, yeah, am I Wade? Was I a drug addict? Absolutely, dude. I'm not denying that, but I'm Wade. I'm a stepfather. I try to help people. I'm altruistic with everything I am. I'm a follower of Jesus. I don't really necessarily say Christianity, but like those
mm,
are traits that I say. I'm a gym rat. I tell myself that every day, so I have to hold myself to those standards every single day, whether I want to or not. I have to be those things because I believe I am those things. And like I get it, like in the halls, and even like we'll do mental health too. As long as I reinforce that I have broken patterns, I will always have broken patterns. If I
yeah,
excuse my bad behaviors with I'm sorry, I don't want to talk right now. I have PTSD. No, dude, like why don't you just say like you don't feel like talking right now? Or like, hey,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. Because I've seen that too. I've seen that where people will like ride on their diagnosis. Well, I'm this way because, you know, it's not like an excuse. Like you said, we can change. There's that neuroplasticity
Mm,
if we put in the work, you know, with our brain, you know. I just, you know, it just I'm a slow learner, you know. And sometimes it takes, you know, a while to break. Like we talk about, you know, I was on a meeting this morning, and you know, we were going over character defects, you know, like in the big book and stuff. We talk about our character defects. Well, some of mine are character defaults because I'm so used to defaulting to act like a certain way, you know.
yeah.
And I just, you know, the more I do meetings, the more I do therapy, the more I put in the work, like, you know, at the gym or whatever, it becomes it's like a reboot. I'm scrubbing, I'm defragging the computer system and, you know, like putting in an upgraded program, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it, man. I just like I run into people that excuse their bad behaviors with diagnoses, and it's not a thing. It's like you might actually just be a shitty person. You
Yeah.
know, it's like,
eh,
like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
like and you met me, dude, so you know, like I don't sugarcoat. I'm like, no, like, you know, our boy, our mutual friend today, I won't say his name on here. Our
Yeah.
mutual friend called me today. He said, I have a dilemma to make. And I said, okay, what bad decision are you about to make? And and how do I talk you down from it? You know, and like luckily he was just like, you know, tell me about his life. And I was just like, hey man, like listen, dude, like look at his life, look at your life. Why are you jealous? Like you're not even in the same category, man. Like, yeah, you got all these traumas, dude, but like work past them, dude. We're all born with the same amount of seconds in the day, the same amount of hours, and we're all like, and granted, like not everybody's like physically superior or mentally superior, but like those are all traits you can work on, just like our character defects. You can work on it, but you have to acknowledge them first. Like how
Yeah.
many people have you met that like, you know, correct somebody's speech or like fix something in a house that isn't theirs and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just OCD." And I'm like, "No, I think you're just actually inconsiderate and you're an asshole and you're just like you're just, you know, and you're self-diagnosing first of all, which is an insult to anybody who really has it, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's wild, man. I come across so many vets because you know Project ReFit. We work with a lot of vets, man, and they make these excuses why they can't be amazing. Like they're robbing themselves of an amazing life, and they're like, well, you know, I saw this in Iraq and I saw this in Afghanistan, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry that you saw that, man, but like, you know, keep talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Keep talking about it, but take out the excuses. Let's not no more excuses. Like if you want to be shitty from here on out, that's a decision you're making. And if you want to be a success story, like that's a decision you're making. Like you wouldn't, dude, you wouldn't become a millionaire and be like, oh, I'm a millionaire because I have PTSD. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I
that's uh that's what I would do. Stigma, mental health. That was your question.
yeah. I yeah, yeah, our mutual friend tried getting a hold of me before this. I said I'd call him after I'm done talking with you on here. Um, but yeah, you mentioned Project Refit, which I want to get into. Tell me about for our audience, you know, what Project Refit is, how you got connected with it.
Okay. So I got out of the military 2016. Project Refit started, I think, like 2018. Man, so I got out and I was drinking a lot and I was drugging and I went to rehab because I almost killed myself, you know, drinking and drugging. And, you know, I started writing. Writing was a coping mechanism that I always turned to. And I started writing, but my writing was about how I was like presently feeling, but I would just lie to people and say it was like, oh, this is, you know, self reflection from the past and blah blah blah. And this nonprofit called Project Refit reaches out to me and they say, hey man, like we see your writings on Facebook and they're like really sad. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, and they say, okay, well, you're fine. And they're like, well, you know, we want to keep tabs on you. And also we like your writing. It does hit with a lot of people. Would you write for us? And I said, absolutely. And they're like, I think they're at this time, they're only like a couple months old, maybe. Very, very small. I think there was only two people in it. And I was the third. And dude, I kept writing and I relapsed and I went back to drinking again. And, I had myself convinced that, I had it under control. And like every time I drink, I know it goes to cocaine. Like 99% of the time, that's what and that's the life destroyer. So by default, right? Like alcohol is my life destroyer
Yeah.
because like that's the first step. I'm opening the door.
Yep.
And I relapsed again for honestly probably a couple years. I'm not even sure, man. That whole time was a blur. But I was still part of Project ReFit and I was still helping people while I was like trying to just keep myself alive, but helping other people helped me.
Yeah.
Even if it was that little dopamine hit for the day, that wasn't, drugs or alcohol. And I just kept helping until like one day I couldn't help anymore, Bill. Like I couldn't help anymore, man. My tank was empty. I was I was a fraud. I was talking people off of edges that I was sitting on,
Mm.
you know. And I get called out on my shit pretty much. Um they asked me to they asked me if I would step back, and I voluntarily stepped back because I was like, I'm a liar. Like first and foremost, I'm a huge liar. I'm a manipulator. People are believing in me, and I'm giving them false hope because whatever I'm taking and giving is stolen anyway because it's a false image. And I one day I tried to shortly after that I tried to kill myself, and then I got admitted to a mental institution. And that was like my come to Jesus moment, man. And even though I got asked to step back from the organization, respectfully, they told me I always have a seat at the table should I get my life right. And they kind of left it up to me. And even in the mental institution, they gave me some Project ReFit, this guy James specifically, and a guy named Pat Carney. Got me connected with the VA, and they gave me some options. They're like, hey, you can go in these programs if you want, or you can go do whatever the fuck Wade wants to do. And, I fucking had this realization while I was in there, man, that like my life is really not that bad. Like I was just telling myself, excusing all my poor behaviors. And this is why I really feel like I can say this stuff is because I was excusing all my poor behaviors with a diagnosis. And it had led me down a very dark path. And I was using this diagnosis to relate with the broken when I myself was broken.
Yeah.
And I chose to go into programs for 2 years, man. 2 years of my life. I was 34 years old in a program for homeless veterans. And let me tell you, the Lord humbled me, man. Um, I went from like I went from a nice apartment and two jobs and making good money to I didn't even have enough money to buy cigarettes or pay my cell phone bill. So I that was a huge humble pie for me, and I stuck with it though. And Refit offered me back to the table, and here I am, man. And now we do retreats all over the United States. We have a mobile base where we drive to you and to events, and we encourage people to come inside and talk about their problems. We have radio check-ins online where people can go online. It's a Zoom meeting and talk about their problems. One's anonymous and one is open to everybody. And if you want the anonymous link, you just reach out and say, "Hey, I want to keep this anonymous." Um, when I tell you we've saved lives, man, I mean it. I've been on the phone with the wife who, her husband OD'd on fentanyl. She had no idea what to do, and we walked her through how to save him until the paramedics got there. Like, dude, we're changing lives. But first and foremost, I want to say by this, we're changing lives by telling men and women the fucking truth. Because if you want your trauma and you want your labels and you want whatever, you want that sugar coated, you go to your fucking psychiatrist and your therapist. Because like modern day psychiatry to me is not what it should be. We lost our way. We came
Yeah.
more catering towards feelings and away from stoicism. And, Marcus Aurelius says, like, what stands in the way becomes the way. So, like, if I have this obstacle and I have this diagnosis, I need to figure out how to move the fuck through it. And instead, we blame it on our childhood trauma or war or this and that. And man, us vets, we love to buy that shit. We're like, fuck
Yeah, oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Give me that 100%, and I'm set for life, and I'm not gonna do anything, and blah blah blah. And we have no goals when we get to 100%. But dude, I will sit there at a campfire. We do a campfire chat. We call it a fireside chat, and I'm gonna probably not talk most of the time. I'm gonna listen to you finish your story, and then I'm probably gonna hurt your feelings. But I mean it with love. Like, there is not an ounce of maliciousness in me, because like I really do love most people. Most. I'm not gonna say everybody.
Yeah.
Like I said, fuck pedophiles. But
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you there.
like,
Yeah.
but, like, other than that, man, like I fucking uh, even at the Taylor Foundation thing, right? Like when
Yeah.
they had the tough cases, they called me over. Like, Wade, we need you to talk to this guy, and I'm like, yo, dude, you're fucking stupid. Like, listen to me. And like they're crying, and I'm like, hey, dude, it's okay to cry, just don't cry like a little bitch. And like I'll give him a hug, and I'm like, listen, dude, this is how do we move through this? How do we do this? And like I just, like, God has told me, man, like I'm just supposed to deliver. He didn't tell me like come down from the heavens, but God is teaching me that the only way to love my brother and love my sister is to tell them what's on my heart, and maybe that they need to hear, but nobody today wants to say it to them.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you're not going to meet Corey, just, we don't need to, don't need to be over dramatic. It's all right.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, I love. You can tell how passionate I get about mental health, man. Like,
Yeah.
that goes up like 2 notches, man. Because like, I see all these beautifully amazing people out there, and I want them to be the people that I see them as.
Yeah. I, like what you were just saying too, what I like, and and I was one of those guys, man, that like and there's still that tendency to lean on excuses or point the finger, you know, to someone else on why I'm not where, this didn't happen my way, and I love, I that's the type of advice I need. I need to be reminded, like, not, just get my shit together. That's why sometimes, like, some of the people that come to me, I'm just like, I'm not going to sit there and let you live in excuses. But at the same time, I get it, because I can tend to lean towards an excuse, I guess. I don't know if you get what I'm saying,
Yeah, I do. I do.
and
But
that's why,
there's no growth in comfort, and excuses are
yeah,
made to make you comfortable, even if it's in lying or making somebody else uncomfortable, so you avert it by you know making an excuse.
like, I've been giving, like, my daughter some tough love lately, and it's just like, I'm getting this whole, like, you, um, and like, I got to own what I did in the past when I wasn't there for them. And it's like, just, and know that, okay, I have been there for them since I've been sober. And there's a lot of good things I've done. But just because I'm expecting you to grow up and be an adult now doesn't mean I don't love you. It means I love you because I want you to grow up and be an adult. If I didn't love you, I'd keep paying for everything and, keep taking care of you, that's not the
Mm,
real world,
it isn't. The real world is not kind.
yeah. And so now it's like, I got one that's just throwing all kinds of stuff from the past back in my face, because I'm really pushing her to grow up. And it's just, some of the shit hurts, but I also know that I got to stay the course, that this is me loving you, whether you see it or not, you know.
It
But
is. I know exactly what. No hurts you just as much as it, probably more than it hurts them.
oh
Like,
yeah. And then what I need to work on, though, and that's why I continue to stay connected to meetings and other men like you to bounce things off of, you know, especially, you know, followers of Christ, because it's like I can do it with love. Sometimes my presentation isn't very loving,
Mm.
you know, and I got to work on my presentation, you know. Um, but yeah, man. How's so you've been clean how long now?
4 years. 4 years, May 3rd.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. Um, and then how did you originally get connected with Mary and the Taylor Foundation?
Oh, dude, that's a that's a cool story. So it was supposed to be one of my best friends, James. Uh, he was supposed to go to Inked last year, and his wife was pregnant, and he couldn't leave her, so he called me and asked if I would go. So in his place, so I went and represented Project ReFit, you know, because the Taylor Foundation has donated to us, which is cool because I not only can represent the Taylor Foundation, but I could like validate that they actually give organizations money. Like it's not just like we keep it all. Like no, they
Yeah.
really do like send the money back down the pipeline, which I appreciate. And I went there, I had no idea what I was getting into. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, metal music is not my forte. It's not my thing, man. I'm an acoustic guitar kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'll throw on some James Arthur or Katy Perry before some Motionless in White, but I have come to like I love the metal community, man. But
Yeah.
it's just they're fucking great people, dude. They're so great, man. I love them because they look like these tough people that just like don't care and have bad attitudes, and like you really just come to learn that, man, they probably love harder than most average looking people that actually care, like, or have the perception that they care. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I volunteered at Inked. I met Corey Taylor, and meeting him validated my point even more why I wanted to help the Taylor Foundation, because I don't idolize any single person. I remember Mary came up and asked me, she says, "You don't care if you meet Corey, huh?" And I was like, I mean, I'd like to, but no, not particularly. Like, I'm not a fanboy. Like, I don't really care. So the only man I care about meeting is Jesus Christ. And I hope I don't meet him anytime soon.
Yeah.
And she was like, cool. So I got to meet Corey, right? And like in my head, I had already had this like perception of him being like, you know, better than me or whatever. Dude, he was the kindest guy ever and just talked to me like, not like I was a fan. He talked to me like I was like, just like either a member of the band or whatever, a peer, bro. He talked to me like I
Yeah.
was just a regular dude like him. And we sat there and we talked a little bit, man. And I was just like, you got a fan in me now. Like, you have a fan because of the person you are. Like, I mean, I love Stone Sour. I should say that's more my vibe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, dude. And then they invited me to Shiprocks. Have you been on that?
No, I haven't. I'd
Bro, you
love to
gotta
go on that.
you fucking gotta go, dog. It's fucking
Did
amazing.
they foot the bill for you?
Yeah, they did. So
All right. Well, then I'll volunteer for that one.
yeah, they paid for my cabin, and I had to sleep in it with another dude that I didn't know at the time, but he became like a good friend of mine.
Yeah, it's like the military again.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I got to meet the musicians in person, and they thought I was in the band, and or in a band, and they kept asking me, "What band are you in?" I'm like, dude, Wade, like,
The refit.
yeah. And they again, like, I was proven wrong. They just treated me like I was just a person, even though these people were like celebrities, and you know, like I prevail. Like they treated me super good. Motionless in White, super nice to me. What was the other one? Knocked Loose. Oh, those guys are awesome too. Dude, they all just talked to me like I was just a regular person, and I fucking loved that. And
Well, I think what helped too, you know, and I think that's why Mary asked, like, you know, you don't care if you meet Corey or not, because what I've noticed since I've gotten to know a lot of these guys, that if you're not a fanboy and you just treat them like a human being, they tend to want to hang out and talk with you more, you know?
I can agree with that. Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
If you're fanning out and acting like a freak, then they're going to limit their time and distance themselves, man. You know, because it's like they
yeah.
get that shit all the time, you know. Um,
Yeah. I did
So
fanboy knocked loose. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was in the airport and I was like, "Hey, I didn't want to bother you on the cruise ship, but you're at the airport." I said, "I'm not gonna blow up your spot. I'm gonna secretly take a picture, but I just want your permission before I look like a weirdo." And they're like, "Yeah, go for it." And I didn't say anything, bro. I snuck a picture real quick, and like
yeah,
they were super cool about it, man. And I appreciated that.
yeah. No, it's like I try and tell my daughter who you met, because she's big she loves music and she's very passionate, I'll say, about certain artists. And I'm like, as I was back in the day, and there's still some that I'll be like, wow, I'm like, I can't believe I actually talked to this person. Like at like Inc. I'm friends with Jacoby from Papa Roach. I've become friends with him in the past like 2 years. We formed like a relationship. We'll text each other, occasionally. So when he came out to watch like Tech Nine and stuff, and we were backstage watching Tech Nine, he came up, gave me a big hug, and we hung out and talked, and we're sitting there talking about our spiritual relationship, our relationship with God and Christ, because he's one of us too, and
Um, that makes my
then
heart happier than you know, bro.
he's amazing, man. He's a great human being. And that's what meant more to me than like running around trying to get other people's pictures and stuff like that. But then of course people that had access that were back there that were fans kept punishing, hey, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? And it is what it is, man. He handled it with grace and was very kind and all that stuff. And yeah, he took real good care of me and my daughter and stuff. But I used to like be that guy that would like, okay, I got my media passes, I got this access. Let me rack up all the pictures, for my social media cred, who I got a picture with. And now it's just like, since I've been walking on this journey of recovery and spirituality, I cherish the actual relationships more than like, cred for a bunch of people I'm not going to meet on social media or care to.
Yeah, that's why I love. Who I love as a celebrity is Keanu Reeves. I know this is like totally off, but I would actually like love to meet Keanu Reeves because he's just he's been through so much trauma in his life, and he just continues to be like a great dude. Like people don't know, like guy will like give his seat up in the subway, or he'll like the Matrix. He gave away like most of his money. Like, dude is just a man. That is a guy that I admire him a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fanboy him at all. I would just probably be like, you're a good human, Keanu. Like that's all
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, man. Hey, well, before we get ready and wrap up, I want to ask you a couple questions I normally ask my guests, and let you get back to family time. Um, we talked a little bit about like, I mean, you mentioned some of the acoustic. You're more of an acoustic fan. Like, who would you say are like your top three artists?
Oh, I like James Arthur. I'm kind of embarrassed. James Arthur. Oh, I love Aaron Lewis. Um, and who have I been listening to lately? You know who Boise Avenue is by chance?
No, but
Um,
I will
they
look them up.
Yeah, they do a lot of covers, so they're a cover band, but man, they're good. They jam out. And like my favorite of all time is definitely Sublime. Just period, like favorite artist of all time because I'm a California kid, man.
Nice. And then, what class do you feel should be mandatory before you graduate high school today?
Oh, dude, that's a great question. Um, okay, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna keep it PC here. I'm gonna say credit, learning about your credit. That's
Yeah,
that's so pivotal, bro. And like I didn't find out before my credit was destroyed what credit was because like I didn't have a conventional upbringing, which, if you join the military, usually you didn't have a conventional upbringing.
yeah, pretty much. I learned the hard way in the military about ruining your credit as well.
Yeah,
You know,
I should say finances. Finance is what I go for,
Yeah, that's the number one answer I normally get too, no matter who I ask that to. That and taxes. You know?
Well, it's part of finances, right? Like it should be all
Yeah,
like, hey, pay your taxes, don't go to jail, and pay your credit cards. Like,
yeah. And then who are three people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today?
uh, obviously, number one's gonna be Jesus Christ. Second is gonna be my second JC. I always call him my second favorite JC. His name is James Corbett. He's the president of Project ReFit. He's been one of the few people that have uh, challenged my mindset and tells me when I'm wrong, because like I'm very stubborn and I'm very set in my way, and a lot of people are kind of like, I think they're intimidated by that I'm so opinionated and I believe in what I'm saying, and he'll challenge me, and I appreciate that. And third, uh I don't I don't know if I honestly, I don't think I don't have a third, man. Maybe, even though it's like young in our relationships, I admire Mary very much.
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
she's an
she's very
angel, man.
she's very selfless, and I get to see some of the behind the scenes stuff that she does, and I learn more and more. And she has a great heart, and even though like she's one of the few people that inspires me to like do more and be better. And I'll give some credit to my girlfriend too, because Alicia Martin, because she's a stud, bro. She's seen me. She helped me get through this year. I had a really bad year, and she kept me on the straight and narrow, man. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Mary's an angel for sure, man. I mean, those hugs are just like they hit like nothing else. There's magic in Mary's hugs for sure.
dude, I'm a people watcher, brother. And she's like, she really, really cares. She's very empathetic, and like, I love that she wears her heart on her sleeve. And I've also heard, I've also heard it be like, this guy is not a good guy. Like I've heard her say that. It's like she's
Yeah,
genuine. She's like genuine, and I appreciate that. So the love that she feels for people is real, just as much as like the warning signs going up.
yeah. I feel honored, that she sends me so many guys like you. She wouldn't go out of her way to do that, I guess, if she didn't, you know, see good in me, and that
Mm.
that means a lot.
She
Um,
does. She talked very highly of you, if that means anything to you.
oh, dude, it means so much because she's amazing, and I can't say enough good things about her. Um, so yeah, I don't want to start crying like a bitch on here before we wrap up. Um, and then any message you have for our military members that are currently serving overseas?
Yeah, it's gonna suck. Keep your medical records always. But just know that like you're serving your country right now so that people aren't mandated to serve. Because without the volunteers that we have in America that step up, we'd have what's called a draft. And their sacrifice means more to me than anything you'll ever know, because like my kid gets to choose whether they go in or not because of the volunteers today that are overseas, that are, in harm's way right now. And like, who knows what's going to happen with the Iran situation. And I hope it goes as best as possible
Yeah.
with as least violence as possible. So I just want to say like, thank you, keep your head down, and thank you for doing what you do so my kid isn't mandated to serve.
Yeah, man. I was watching a video earlier today about this setup in Iran and why troops on ground would not be a good thing. You know, there's just no, the way it's set up, the whole country set up. It's just
Mhm.
not. Yeah. So I pray that whatever happens, they keep it from putting boots on ground. You know. But I'd rather that just everything ends and there's peace. But what the chances of that are happening. But at least the least amount of flag draped coffins, that we have to see, the better.
Absolutely.
But man, despite the technical difficulties and all, dude, it was a great conversation. I appreciate it so much. You're definitely a dude I'm going to be keeping in touch with. Yeah, I have some guys I want to talk to you about getting you connected with after this, but I appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah, thank you, brother. And if nobody told you today, dude, I love you as a brother, and man, you're a power of example, and I think more people look up to you than you know. Like even myself, I could see what you bring to this world, and I appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that.
Listen up! Hold on to your seats! Grab your girls, grab your beers!
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain